What's going on? What's going on? It's been a while. But anyway, Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, are they going to be fighting next? The UK fans are all hyped up, our ears are perked up, eyes wide open, and they're wondering if is this really going to happen? Is this going to be true? Are we going to have this big, huge match in December or November, whatever it is, and get to see this clash between these two titans from the UK? Quick answer: no, it's not going to happen. There's no chance in hell. 0.00000% of it happening. Makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. And remember, if you see my videos previously, during the whole Deontay Wilder saga, how they were talking about how Anthony Joshua was going to fight Tyson Fury, how they had a deal set in Dubai, how Deontay Wilder, his contract was void, and there was nothing that he could do to keep this fight from happening, and Tyson Fury had the ability to walk away, you know, and we all know what happened with that. And I said the fight wasn't going to happen. They said, even when they said, oh, it's confirmed and, in Dubai, the deal is done, I said, it's not going to happen. It's all BS. And both sides know it's BS. They're just talking to keep their names in the press and keep people talking about them. And that's it, nothing else. Well, this is basically the same type of thing. Anthony Joshua is coming off of 2 losses. Okay, that's the first thing. And Anthony Joshua has a multi-fight deal now with DAZN. Okay, DAZN is not going to let them go ahead and do something like that. Eddie Hearn is not going to let him, Anthony Joshua, do something like that. The plan now that Anthony Joshua has lost 2 bouts has been for him to fight 2 lower tier fighters. And after him fighting 2 lower tier fighters, he's supposed to fight Dillian White. That's what Eddie Hearn said. Because Eddie Hearn, even if he should keep certain things kind of quiet or kind of secret, he always just spills out what he really wants to do. And one of those first fights was supposed to be in December to try to rebuild him. Because now it's the whole process of rebuilding Anthony Joshua as a brand. He's young. He's in his early 30s. He could fight for a good 5+ years still. Tyson Fury is pretty much on his way out. Deontay Wilder should probably going to be out soon as well. And then you got, what's his name also? Alexander Usyk. Alexander Usyk's probably going to fight 1-2 fights, and he's out of here too. He's going to retire as well. So everything's going to be pretty much open for Anthony Joshua. Are there younger guys kind of coming up that could give him a problem? Yeah, but for the most part, he can get himself a belt. He can get himself 2 belts, and he can kind of ride away for the next 4 or 5 years unless he runs into something. Because that's the part that they're bad with. They're always, sometimes they match him up wrong and then kind of falls into their face. So they keep that from happening. They'll be fine. They can still make a lot of money off of this kid for the next this man, actually, like I said, for the next couple of years. It's still a possibility. So that's the route that they're going to go with. They're not going to take him and put him into a fight with Tyson Fury, where Tyson Fury would just completely just ruin him. That would be the end of that man. Not to mention, you don't even know where psychologically and mentally he is with the outbursts and the breakdowns that he had in that fight, after that fight, or the breakdown that he had before the Andy Ruiz fight, the first fight in New York. You don't know. So to think that, oh yeah, let's go ahead and do it. Let's just, put him in there once again. Back-to-back losses against Tyson Fury that's, knocking people out, back to back to back. Yeah, let's put him in against him. No, with his 6'9", 280-pound frame. Yeah, let's go do that. It's not going to happen, absolutely not going to happen. So for any UK fans that have been hyped up, that are, that have been waiting for this fight for a long time, and they think, oh yeah, we're finally going to get it. This is the time. This is it now. No. Will you eventually get Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua? Yes. It's probably, just like you eventually got Amir Khan versus Kell Brook. You'll probably get it way down the line when they're, when they're in their late 30s. They're not really, big in the game. The career is pretty much completely done, kind of washed up. Then they'll go ahead and they'll do it. But, besides that, no, you're not getting that fight anytime soon. Matchroom's going to try to do everything that they can to milk this cow dry, and also the big part also is that DAZN deal. They're going to, eventually DAZN's going to want him to start having exclusive fights just on DAZN. DAZN didn't even have this particular fight, this undisputed fight. The Saudi Arabia group bought that up. So they couldn't even get that bout, even though they'd already signed him to a multi-fight deal. So kind of just got to, so it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. They're going to want to set those fights on DAZN. those little pay-per-view bouts they're going to have on the zone, or I don't know if they're going to be pay-per-views, if they're just going to be, you just have to subscribe to the network and be able to watch him. He's a big cornerstone still of Matchroom. He's the main piece of Matchroom. He's the guy that brings in the most attention, that people talk about the most, that look at the most. And for the zone to sign him to that multi, whatever the deal is, I'm sure still a substantial amount of money. They're gonna want him, to fight in fights that he's winning that people are interested in order to build their brand in the UK. He's kind of like almost, you could basically say, almost like the cornerstone of the deal of doing that. Because the other fighters that he has, nobody's interested in those fighters like that. Nobody's really interested in those events like that. I guess people from the UK, I mean, they're going to buy certain things anyway over there. They might be interested in it. But the main thing, the main person is Anthony Joshua. And right now, they're not getting any dividends out of that investment that they made. None right now whatsoever. So they're not going to risk it. It's too risky. And there's too much money on the line to put him up against Tyson Fury. Long term, there's a substantial more money to be made than in short term. And even short term, unless Saudi Arabia or something like that buys that bout, if you're having it because they want to have it in the UK, right? If you're going to have it in the UK is limited to what they can make on fights. Despite what people might say, might think, they even what is considered, quote, big fights aren't really massive fights when you look at, the top fights that have happened in the United States, the top 10 or 15 or so. It's really not that big. You're only going to have so much of a gate, 7, 8 million. Where in the United States, you've had a bunch of $70 million gates. Wilder versus Fury in the United States was a $16 or $18 million gate, $60 million gate. Canelo versus Plant, $18 million gate. We're just talking about the gates, not even the pay-per-views. It's different. There's a cap on what these people can get. The government has put caps on what the people can be charged. Pay-per-views are also kept low. There's a cap really on what you can charge people when it comes to pay-per-views. $35, 35, 20 some dollars, 20 some euros, 30 euros, something like that. It's not like the $78 that you charge over here in the United States, $80. If a fight's big enough, for $100. If a fight's big enough, they'll charge $200 over here in the United States. We've had as high as $70 million gates in the United States. It's different. But unfortunately, this is not a big fight in the United States. So you can't have it in Vegas or something like that. It's not an event that the United States is interested in. So it's not like you're going to have that market to be able to garnish all these additional residual income. You don't have that. You don't have that. At least with Tyson Fury and Wilder, you're able to get the U.S. pay-per-views. You're able to get the substantially large gate. And you're also able to get the pay-per-views in the UK. It's not like that with Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. It's pretty much just the UK market. That's pretty much it. So you're looking at 2 million pay-per-views at what, $30 a pop, and then you're looking at a $7-8 million gate, something like that. It's and then you split that in half. It's not worth it. As despite it, quote, being really big, it's honestly not worth it if you look at someone like Anthony Joshua and what you're gonna could possibly still do with him over the next 5-6 years. Next 5-6 years. Monetarily, financially, long term, you can make substantially more money. That's also part of why we didn't see Manny Pacquiao versus Floyd Mayweather for so long, because Bob Arum had no real reason to set up to do the fight. He was doing over 1 million pay-per-views at one point, Manny Pacquiao, at $70 a pop. He was doing big gates, and Bob Arum was taking a whole bunch of his money, taking it and banking it. So with what he was making, it made no sense to do that Floyd Mayweather fight, because he was generating so much funds by having him just fight these other guys. And he made hundreds of millions of dollars off him over those years. Then when it got to the point where, hey, I'm going to make a lot more money off this one fight with Floyd than I would, these 6, 7, 8, 10 fights with Manny, then it was like, all right, cool, time to do it, because it's the end of Manny's career. So with Anthony Joshua still being so young, he still looked good in that fight. It's not like he just got destroyed, obliterated. He looked good. He still needs to work on a couple of things, needs to push himself a little bit further as far as conditioning and things of that nature. He still didn't look that bad. And he looked good enough to beat most fighters out there still. And that's a product that you can still sell and still sell for years, and the UK public will still buy it. They'll still, sell out those arenas, and they'll still pay pay-per-views purchase pay-per-views to see him fight. So, and that's the route that I believe they're going. That's the route. I'm not going to say believe. That's the route I know they're going to go. So, Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, this year, next year, the following year, not going to happen. Like, subscribe, share. I'm out.